I just announced some fights yesterday, and that wasn't one of them. Everything you hear is bullshit until we say it.
Tensions erupt as Dana White goes off on the media, fiercely defending the UFC's blockbuster clash between Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev. Dana White has denied reports suggesting that he asked Ilia Topuria to vacate his title. Instead, he argued with the media that it was a decision made by Topuria himself. White argued that the fighter chose to vacate the belt voluntarily, and it was not a directive from him.
No, he did that. He said, I've done everything I can do here. I'm ready to move up. And he vacated it. He said, I shouldn't be holding up anybody's opportunities. And, you know, it's always, I respect when guys do that. Well, I think that he felt he had done everything with the guys that he beat. If you look at who he beat and how he beat them, right? And I don't think he loved making that weight anymore.
Building on that, Dana White didn't just shut down talk of Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev, he practically snapped at the media while doing it. He stressed that the fight is far from confirmed and that discussions are still ongoing, but made sure to take a shot at reporters, accusing them of jumping the gun and making stuff up. Lately, Dana's growing hostility toward the media has been hard to miss, and this was just another example of him brushing off legitimate questions with open disdain.
You weren't able to announce it then, but is it safe to say that Ilia Islam is the fight that we're sort of working towards, or could he be fighting?
There's still other possibilities, so there's a lot of shit going on right now.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would have said. A lot of shit happens behind the scenes, man. A lot of you know, bullshit that we got to deal with, but that's the business, so. Whoever is next in line gets the title or the shot or whatever it might be. You know, there's so many times that we've had people to fall out, you know, the night of. I mean, we've had lots of crazy shit happen, but yeah, it all worked out. Ilia Topuria is moving up the lightweight. We'll announce that fight when he's ready. I know a lot of you probably thought I was announcing that right now, but no, we are not.
Clarifying another point, White addressed the supposed idea that the UFC is opposed to double champions, particularly following Topuria's decision to vacate his title. White firmly denied this notion, stating that there's no issue with fighters holding titles in two divisions, as long as they can make weight for both and successfully defend both belts. However, he acknowledged that it would be a demanding challenge for any fighter to balance such a responsibility, and pointed out how it depends on the scenario.
Unless you think you can, you know, defend your title. Listen, if there's a guy that thinks he can do it and wants to defend both belts and has accomplished all these great things, I would have no problem with it. But you're going to be busy. I don't have a problem with it, you know. But I haven't. The philosophy hasn't changed. It's just on a case-by-case basis.
When it came to the International Fight Week main event, Dana White skillfully dodged questions about the main event for Fight Week, refusing to confirm whether the potential fight being discussed should be the one to headline the event. While speculation swirled, White kept his cards close to his chest, offering no definitive answers on the matter.
We are still waiting for a main event for International Fight Week, and I'm sure you were willing and ready to break that for us now. Who is main eventing that?
Well, I just announced some fights yesterday, and that wasn't one of them.
Yeah, there's a couple you didn't announce.
Like I said before, we'll see how this whole thing plays out, but massive opportunity for him, and we're excited to give him it. Just not happening that.
And Ilia Islam?
What's that?
Ilia versus Islam?
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see how it plays out. We talk about that guy Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. He's been talked about a lot lately.
We are preparing something special for Islam Makhachev. Is something special you mean in his weight class or other weight class?
As soon as we announce it, you'll know. Indoor or outdoor?
Indoor. No? Sería todo cubierto? No? There will be.
Yeah, I like it.
35?
Sounds good, yeah. Sounds good.
On the topic of super fights, Dana also spoke, particularly the potential matchup between champions Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev. He stated that such a fight makes sense in Topuria's case, given his impressive track record and the way he's defeated his opponents. White explained that when a fighter has cleared out their division, moving up to challenge for a second title is a logical step, a comment that some took as a not-so-subtle shot at anyone questioning Topuria's fast track to 155. Dana's increasingly blunt way of dismissing concerns about matchmaking has drawn criticism, with many feeling he's becoming more rude and dismissive in addressing legitimate questions about fighter readiness and division integrity.
I mean, yeah, unless you've really wiped out a division and you know, like John Jones, who was in lightweight forever and then moved up to heavyweight. Ilia, I get it. It makes sense, you know. When I, like I said, who he's beat and how he beat him, and now he's tired of making weight and wants to move up to 50. Totally makes sense. They want to fight each other. I think people want to see it.
However, White acknowledged that matching up fighters like Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev, both with impressive resumes, presents a challenge for the UFC. However, he framed it as a good problem to have, emphasizing that the complexity of matchmaking goes beyond current demand or popularity. White explained that timing, injuries, and various other factors play a significant role in determining who will fight next, making the process much more intricate than simply responding to what's trending in the moment.
So when we get in the room and we got these guys that are all, you know, popping and doing great, and now it's just a matter of timing, who's hurt, where are we going? You know, there's a lot of different factors that play into who's going to fight next and where, and yeah, it's not just. There's a lot of things that go into the matchmaking other than just you know, who's on fire or whatever.
How realistic do you think that is, given what he has shown us and given the fact that he's only 28 years old?
Yeah, I like when guys absolutely wipe out a division and then you're like, what's next? You know, if the Volkanovski fight happens, beat him twice, beat Max, he beat this guy, that guy.
Reinforcing his stance, Dana White made it clear that until he and the UFC officially confirm a fight, any updates circulating elsewhere are meaningless. He dismissed outside reports and speculations as pure noise, stressing that while people are free to speculate and create rumor-driven matchups, nothing is happening unless the UFC itself announces it. In a pointed tone, White indirectly blamed the media present for fueling the ongoing drama in the sport, accusing them of giving life to baseless rumors and stirring unnecessary chaos among fighters and fans alike.
Everything you hear is bullshit until we say it.
So that fight is still the target for both men.
I've said it many times that that's the fight that we want to make this year. Yeah. What the f does that even mean? I don't even fucking understand what that means. That sounds like some bullshit to me.
In addition, Joe Rogan has unleashed a harsh critique of the UFC's weight cutting practices, calling it a form of legalized cheating that undermines the true purpose of weight classes. Expanding on his point, Rogan highlighted the life-threatening dangers of extreme weight cutting, explaining that fighters often push their bodies to the brink of death. While he admitted it might sound dramatic to those unfamiliar with the process, Rogan stressed that it's no exaggeration.
You really are close to death.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds ridiculous to say that, and if for someone who doesn't understand what fighters are going through, you'd go, oh, you're being hyperbolic, but not really. Not really. You really are close to death. If you keep going for a few more hours, you'll die.
Yeah.
Moreover, Joe Rogan described the UFC's current weight class system as silly and unnecessary, arguing that it needs a complete overhaul. He believes the practice of weight cutting should be abolished entirely and has even discussed the issue with.
It's just so silly. The whole thing is just, it's an old thing that we kept for no reason. And I feel like they should blow all the weight classes. I've talked to Dana about this. I actually talked to Ari Emanuel about this when they first bought the UFC. I said, the first thing you should do is get rid of this. Get rid of the weight cutting and just add a bunch of weight classes. You know, because some of the weight class gaps, like the gap between 70 and 85, and then 85 and 205, they're too big. The gaps are too big. 20 pounds is nuts.
In addressing Islam Makhachev's potential future moves, Dana White dismissed the idea of Islam Makhachev moving up to middleweight, stating that while he would be open to discussing a jump to welterweight at 170 pounds, making the leap to 185 is an entirely different conversation. Despite the speculation, White once again dodged giving any clear answers about Makhachev's future, keeping plans surrounding the lightweight champion deliberately vague.
Who is the number one?
And f you for asking that question. But he would move up to middleweight. Yeah, I don't know about that. Listen, if he wants to move up to 170, we can talk. Moving up to 185 is a whole nother level.
Are there plans for you for Islam? You have any plans for him?
When we do, we'll announce it.
Когда будут, мы расскажем.
Meanwhile, as an opponent has not been confirmed, Ilia Topuria is officially set to headline UFC 317 on June 28th during International Fight Week in Las Vegas. A video of Ilia Topuria has surfaced online, showing him sharpening his punching technique, serving as early evidence that he has officially begun his training camp ahead of UFC 317.
Ilia Topuria is in training camp and he is ready to fight on International Fight Week card. So usually when you're in camp, you're about 8 to 10 weeks off fighting. And 8 to 10 weeks from now is June 28th, International Fight Week. Many reports are saying that it is him versus Islam, or that he is guaranteed to be fighting for a title. So if he's fighting for a title, it has to be Islam, because he's not going to fight Volk. Well, this is what people have suggested. If it's not Islam, it's going to be Charles Oliveira for an interim, who also put out a reel saying the return. I think Islam is waiting for the result of Jack Della versus Bilal, and based on that, you're going to find out whether he is going to be fighting Ilia Topuria or not, or whether Ilia is going to be fighting for an interim champion.
Ilia Topuria will be fighting at UFC 317. Here's the latest on what's going on with him, who he could be fighting, and what's going on.
Looking ahead, Ilia Topuria acknowledged that he isn't sure when a potential title bout with Islam Makhachev might become a reality, but he remains hopeful that it could take place by the summer or September. He expressed a strong desire to see the fight materialize soon, aiming for a showdown that would capture the attention of the MMA world.
I don't know. I hope in summer, maybe in September. I don't know.
Continuing his confident stance, Ilia expressed strong confidence in his position, stating that Dana White would not require him to face a contender before getting a title shot at lightweight. He made it clear that as an undefeated world champion, there should be no need for him to prove himself further in the division.
Let's just say Dana says, I want you to fight Arman before you fight Islam. Would you entertain that?
He wouldn't tell me that.
He wouldn't tell you that?
No.
Dana would say Islam.
He would say for the belt.
He would say for the belt?
Yeah.
I think so as well, because you're undefeated.
Of course.
Yeah.
There's no way that I have to fight to the #1 contender. I have to fight directly for the belt.
Expanding on the significance of the matchup, Ilia Topuria expressed that a fight against Islam Makhachev would be a monumental opportunity not just for his career, but for the sport itself. He believes he possesses the skill set to defeat Makhachev. However, what excites him most is the potential to shock the world, knowing that while he expects to win, the broader MMA community would be stunned to see Islam fall to him.
That will be a great one, because I really know that I have the ability to shock the world, because I know that for me it's gonna be like, I know that I'm gonna beat him, but for the world it's gonna be like just what happened. The same thing that happened with Volk, the same thing that happened with Max Holloway. No one never knocked him out, no one did it, and it was like a surprise for everyone. I really believe that I can beat the current champion, Islam. I really think that he's a great champion. He does. You can't be a world champion by chance. You know, you have to do things great.
He's a beast.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah.
But I like the competition, and I don't like to be a bully and fight with people that I know 100% that I'm gonna whoop his ass. You know, I like to fight with people that the fans think that it's going to be very competitive. That kind of expectations I like to create. So with Islam, I'm going to have that. Doing again the rematch with people that I already fought, I don't think that I'm going to have the same kind of expectations.
On the other hand, for Makhachev, the true legacy won't come from fighting smaller challengers. He sees his shot at greatness in moving up a division and capturing a second belt, an achievement he believes would solidify his place among the sport's all-time greats.
Go up, takes a second belt. This is a legacy.
Yeah.
I want to be like you know? Champ. How many? 11 times defend your belt.
Не знаю, еще столько соперников, и все хотят меня там в первом, во втором раунде финишировать, все говорят об этом, но я же сказал, сделайте 70 килограмм, заходите в клетку и посмотрим, кто кого финиширует там.
There's all these opponents, they all say they want to finish me in the first or second round. I already said, if you can make 155, you can get into the cage, let's talk about it then.
Not make sense, give the chance third time from the some guy who come. If I beat, I beat the Volkanovski twice. People still say you beat small guy. He's not your weight division. If I beat Topuria, it's gonna be same. Everybody gonna talk same.
In a whirlwind of speculation and shifting narratives, both Dana White and Ilia Topuria have made it clear that big moves are ahead, but nothing is set in stone. As discussions continue, fans can expect more twists before the dust settles. Until then, the fight world watches and waits. Don't miss a moment of the action, hit subscribe, ring the notification bell, and drop your pick in the comment section for who faces Ilia for UFC 317. Stay locked in here for all the latest build-up, analysis, and fight week coverage. Make sure to share this video with your fight crew so they're in on every update.